Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk to you about the maintenance for the Kia EV6, what needs to be done at various intervals, and how to reset the service interval in the vehicle itself if you do maintenance yourself or if the dealership does it and doesn't reset it like they didn't do for me. I'm also going to go over how you can get some maintenance done at the dealership without having to pay anything. One of the benefits of owning an electric vehicle is reduced maintenance since their inner workings are simpler than gas-powered vehicles. Even gas vehicles running synthetic oil typically still need it to be changed at least every 15,000 miles, and most need it more often than that. Electric vehicles, on the other hand, don't need oil changes since there's no oil like in an internal combustion engine. With EVs, you're basically rotating tires and inspecting various components, replacing things as necessary. Because of this, EV maintenance costs are lower compared to gas vehicles, which is a nice perk. So, to access the EV6 maintenance schedule, the easiest thing to do is to look right here in the app. You scroll to the bottom and tap maintenance, and it takes you right to the information about your next maintenance that needs to be done, and you can also see a history of your completed maintenance here as well. Real quick too, if you find this video beneficial, please hit that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe. It really helps me out and I definitely appreciate it. So you can see here at my 8,000 mile maintenance that was just completed, they were basically inspecting several items like the 12-volt battery, AC, brakes, cabin air filter, steering and suspension components, typical things most dealerships check with any service. And because of that, if you can rotate the tires yourself, you can have this maintenance done without any out-of-pocket cost. That's what I did since I just had my new wheels installed. I had them rotate the tires with the wheels. Then, when I went to the dealership, I told them I needed the 8,000 mile maintenance, but I already rotated the tires, so I didn't want that done. I also mentioned a couple things I wanted them to check, like random squeaks or rattles, and they did. They completed everything and didn't charge me a cent. So on these simple maintenance intervals where the only thing listed under replace is to rotate the tires, if you can rotate them yourself, you can have the dealership check everything else and not have to pay anything. So just a quick tip there. I know I've seen some people discuss the costs of the 8,000 mile maintenance, and I've seen it range anywhere from $30 to over $100, which is significant. Now going back and checking what's needed at my next maintenance interval at 16,000 miles, the only thing added is the climate control air filter or cabin air filter. This is something that is very easy to change, and I'll do a video in the future on that, but again, if you're able to replace it yourself, you can save some costs there. Next up is 24,000 miles. You can see it's every 8,000 miles that you have something listed. This one is the same as the 8,000 mile one with just inspecting these components and rotating tires. At 32,000 miles, the climate control air filter needs to be replaced again, so that in particular should be done every 16,000 miles. They also added a note that the cooling system should be inspected as well, including adding coolant if necessary, which should be done by the dealership since there's a specialized coolant in these vehicles. They also added that the drive shaft and boots should be inspected, as well as the reduction gear fluid. Then at 40,000 miles, we're back to the same 8,000 mile service items. At 48,000 miles, the climate control air filter is replaced again, and the cooling system and drive shaft and boots are checked again as well. At this interval, they also want the brake fluid replaced, which is the first time that's listed. Everything else is just the typical items. Then at 56,000 miles, we're back to the normal 8,000 mile check. At 64,000, you have to replace the climate control air filter again, check the cooling system, drive shaft and boots, and reduction gear fluid again. 72,000 is back to the 8,000 mile maintenance list. At 80,000, the climate control air filter is replaced again, and the cooling system and drive shaft and boots are checked. At 88,000, we're back to those 8,000 mile maintenance items again. And at 96,000 miles, we're back to replacing the brake fluid and climate control air filter, as well as checking the cooling system, drive shaft and boots, and reduction gear fluid. And that's as high as the app goes. There's nothing in here past 96,000 miles. To get that info, we can look at the manual itself where it breaks down the maintenance information this way. If you like charts, you might actually like viewing all the maintenance intervals in this manner. The I means inspect and correct as necessary. R means replace. And while this chart only goes up to 96,000 miles, it does list a couple things past that that are important to note. So while the coolant needs to be inspected first at 48,000 miles and then every 24,000 after that, it does need to be replaced at 120,000 miles. And then once it's replaced, it needs to be replaced every 24,000 miles after that, which is fairly often. In addition, there's a note at the top which states after 10 years or 100,000 miles, they recommend following the severe maintenance schedule shown here. This should also be followed if you drive in any of the conditions listed at the bottom. Lots of short distance driving, driving on rough, dusty, muddy, unpaved, salty roads, driving in heavy traffic at high temperatures, driving in hilly areas or mountain roads often, towing or using a roof rack, driving at high speeds or rapidly accelerating or decelerating, and driving in a lot of stop and go conditions. And honestly, I think a lot of people will fall into some of these, so you may want to follow this schedule more closely depending on which conditions apply to you. The changes are basically checking items more frequently for most of the conditions, replacing the climate control air filter more frequently in dusty environments, and then replacing the reduction gear fluid every 72,000 miles if you drive short distances often or in a lot of heavy traffic at high temperatures, drive on dusty, unpaved, or salty roads, drive on hills a lot or mountain roads, or if you drive as a patrol car or taxi or other commercial use, which I don't think a lot of that's going to apply to people, or if you do vehicle towing, which I also don't think many people will do with the EV6 since it's only rated for 2,300 pounds of towing, so I don't think that will really apply either. But yeah, that's all of the maintenance interval information for the Kia EV6. To reset the service interval in your vehicle, all you need to do is go to Setup, and then Vehicle, and then scroll down to the bottom and tap Convenience. And here it is situated between the rear occupant alert and wireless charging system settings. You tap Service Interval, and then tap Reset to reset the time and distance. And it will give you a confirmation that it's been reset. And you can see the new service interval listed here. And then the next time you turn the vehicle on, there's no more service required indicator shown. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell too. I have a lot of content on the way, more videos and giveaways, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.